Why most of the Bazi reading are not correct? I dare to say that at least 50% of the Bazi reading, or we call it the astrology, or we call it the fortune telling, they are not going to be correct. Why is that so? There's actually a couple of reasons we need to identify first. First, assumption. Assumption that the birthday and time is correct. So, can we really confirm that whatever that is printed in the birth certificate of whatever you have is going to be absolutely 100% correct? No, it's not going to be. Because in the older days, when people, the nurses, when they write the date of birth or they print the date of birth, they could round it off to a whole number. It could be due to, for example, it become a 10:50, they round off to 11 o'clock. Or maybe it's 11:45, they round off to 11 o'clock. It happens, and apparently this kind of mistakes, it happens everywhere in the world, you see. And of course, sometimes certain countries, for example, in Malaysia, in the older day, they don't even put the time of the birth itself. They only put the date itself. And other case whereby, for example, in this Vietnam or even in this Indonesia, the actual date of birth, sometimes their cities are very far apart in terms of government for the registration of their birth certificate. So when they give birth that time and the day that they going to register in the particular government body, the registration date is actually the date of registration for the baby. It's not the day of the person that is born. So the question is, there could be a gap in between, could be like 2 weeks or 1 month due to the distance between city to city of the government offices. So we must understand that some of these countries, they do practice such kind of things, you see. Another thing is that the culture of the country, for example, in this South Korea, what happened is this. In the culture under South Korea, when a person is suspected to be conceive a baby, that means they discover that they are pregnant, this mother is pregnant. The day that they are discovered they're pregnant, this is the day of their birthday in their registration next time. You see, which means that it could be like 7 months gap or 6 months gap, depending on how fast they're able to discover this person is pregnant. So, which means that the actual date of birth and the time is actually a big gap. It's totally wrong, you see. So another reason is this, which I discover very, very interesting is this. Every country within the last 100 years, they do have a change of time. That means they adjust their time. For example, today we will increase in half an hour or we decrease 1 hour due to international conflict, due to international or politically reason. Even the time in this World War II itself, do you know that, for example, Singapore and Malaysia, their time actually are being adjusted a couple of hours, and after that it's being changed again. So anybody that is born during that time and we're going to use that time as birth certificate and time, there's a difference of a few hours. So if you were to check the history of every country, they have certain time adjustment. And due to this time adjustment itself is going to be plus a few hours or minus a few hours, which means that whatever that we are going to register in our birth certificate, although it could be correct, but the real mean time is going to be wrong. You see, that means the real gap could be 1 hour, 2 hour differences. And 1 hour, 2 hour differences in the destiny chart under Qi will make a lot of difference. And I have gone through so many, many cases whereby I've read them and then I understand and analyze them and I discover that I have to do a bit of tweaking and adjusting to make sure that things are better. Because my accuracy comparatively to other people are far, far much more accurate based on what the people have given me to read. This is their feedback from them. So the thing is, we must understand that to get a puzzle reading to be very accurate, it's not going to be that easy. There's a lot of filtering involved, there's a lot of adjustment involved before we even read the chart. That means we have to clean, I call it to clean the chart first, make sure that the chart is clean. Then from there, when the chart is clean, then we can read it. Or else, if we just purely based on whatever is being plotted I'm sorry to say that at least 50%, I'm not joking, 50% of the things will be incorrect. And end of the day, whatever you read basing on the character, your destiny, your potential, your prospect of yourself in the next coming years, which we they call it the next 10 years, 20 years, whichever, is going to be wrong. So end of the day, you're living in the way, in the time whereby it's totally wrong. I think that's the most saddest thing to encounter itself, you see. So be smart and then share with this video with people that you know that are doing Bazi reading. This something very important and very critical, and I share with this with all my students in my classes, and this makes a deep impact comparatively to anybody who does any Bazi reading, whether is it Ziping Bazi or even this 紫微斗数, any method of reading itself. If you don't understand all these basic concepts, I'm sorry to say that accuracy will not be correct. At least 50% of them are wrong. Okay, thank you for watching this video. My name is Douglas Chan.